So welcome to another episode of Soundtrack of Our Lives. I'm here with Kate Hunter, who runs bear cleaning over, I would say Warwick and Leamington, because they seem the same place to me. So if you just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So I run an exterior cleaning company called Bear Cleaning with my husband. We are based in Kenilworth, which, you know, Warwick, Leamington, Kenilworth is pretty much all the same. And we cover Coventry, parts of Rugby and Southam domestically, and then commercially sort of Warwickshire and the wider West Midlands.
And bear cleaning, it's called, so I mean I know Ted and I know why he's called bear cleaning, but yeah, so where did the name come from?
There's three reasons that it's called Bear. So his name is Edward, so we obviously all call him Ted, but when he was little they called him Edward Bear. And then he worked for Warwickshire Police for 15 years, and the emblem for Warwickshire Police is the bear and ragged staff. And obviously if you meet him, you know that he looks like a bear.
He's literally a bear. Yeah, it's,
tight head. So, yeah, the epitome. It doesn't make sense when you meet me, does it?
No,
so,
but it does, yeah. Once you know Ted, it all becomes apparent.
Yes,
but,
absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys are really busy. As I always say, in the description of this video, I will put all of your social links in there and your website. So if anybody does want to connect with you or get in touch, they can.
Brilliant.
I would recommend that you go and follow you on socials, because you do make some of the most brilliant videos. And I was just saying to my guest that was in earlier, the Spice Girls one was my personal highlight. I thought that was absolute genius. It's just you, Big Ted, and your three lads who are a lot bigger now. I mean, this video was a few years ago.
Yeah.
All dressed up as the Spice Girls.
Yes.
Singing in your driveway. Just go and have a look. It's just fantastic. It's just brilliant.
They hate me. They'll never forgive me.
No.
That was meant to be on one time only, and I re-put it out at least twice a year.
Yeah, it's and it's amazing, and that's out there. It's out there in the world forever.
Sorry, kids.
Yeah, and like you say, that these three lads, all big strapping lads, aren't they? And
yeah, we need to redo it.
I said we were having this conversation, weren't we, about redoing it, and I think I wrote you a lyric that you perhaps could have done. Maybe I'll have to do a guest appearance. I don't know.
Yeah, brilliant.
So yeah, go and look it up, because it's just fantastic. It's very funny. But yeah, we're going to jump straight in then for song choice number one. When I first started doing this, I was asking the possible guests specific questions, whereas sort of later on I've just kind of let people choose their own five, and it's weird how that can impact, I suppose, the songs that you choose.
Yeah.
So in this instance, you were one of the people who sort of chose them based on questions that I'd asked, and your first one reminds you of road trips with the folks. So what was your choice?
So the choice was REO Speedwagon, Keep On Loving You, and my dad is from Bolton and my mum was born in Ireland, so we did a lot of travelling up and down the motorway. We're a very, very music orientated family, but my dad totally dominated the music, because my mum was all very Irish and very like Daniel O'Donnell. There was absolutely no way hell would freeze over before my dad would allow that. So he had a cassette tape with REO Speedwagon on one side and Foreigner on the other, and I feel like we just spent a lot of time in the car listening to those two on a loop. And you sort of move on through life, don't you? And there was a time, I think it was kind of, it makes me sound really old, but when you sort of realised at some point, like I guess it was when they put music online, so like you had your Spotify, iTunes and YouTube and things like that. So obviously we didn't have CDs, and we certainly didn't have the cassettes anymore. And then we were all just sat round. So if we have a family gathering, so whether that's Mother's Day, Father's Day, someone's birthday, we get the guitars out. My brother plays the guitar, my son plays the guitar. And then we sort of evolved into like YouTube karaoke, or like a YouTube roulette or Spotify. And I remember it probably in the last sort of 5 to 10 years putting this song on, and literally my dad being like, And it was like we all got taken back in time.
Yeah.
And it's such, whenever that song comes on, we all have really similar tastes in music, but whenever that song comes on, it's a bit of a goose pimples moment, because it is like, I can remember being in the motorway, in the car, on the motorway, driving up the M6, which was horrific. But you don't know that when you're a kid, do you?
It
But,
didn't matter back then.
It didn't matter back then. And just hearing that song just takes me back to a really happy, safe place. And it's lovely to see my dad sort of light up when that song comes on as well.
Yeah, it's got that special memory for him, doesn't it? And
definitely.
and when you're thinking about road trips when you were little, and you know, we didn't pre-seatbelts in the back, and we I don't know how many siblings you have, but you'd be sliding across the back seat in your car, wouldn't you, or however many there were. And I don't know, things just were different. We didn't have stuff to entertain us.
Exactly, you were just looking out the window, looking at the clouds.
Yeah, you'd be looking at the clouds, we'd be playing spot however many yellow cars are, or whatever it was.
Definitely.
But you had to make your own entertainment. You nothing to sit there playing on a tablet or
That's right.
watching DVDs.
I remember going on holiday in convoy with my uncle, and we were stuck in a traffic jam, a car accident or whatever had happened, and we were there for like quite a few hours, and it was just rolling. And I remember my uncle dropping a bag of sweets, leaving it on the road, and then as we rolled forward, we picked them up. And I remember thinking that was so cool.
That was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool uncle move, wasn't it?
There was no mobile, there was no like, I'm gonna drop the sweets for you. So it was like waving the sweets, and then like...
You were just tuned in, like, right, I can see what's happening. I'm on this. I'm not going to let them sweets pass me by.
Absolutely, it was genius.
No, they were... The old road trips were definitely best.
Yeah.
I know we had I don't know exactly when it was. We had a Renault, some sort of Renault car that didn't have reverse gear. So trying to get in and out of car park stuff, it was very. I mean, I don't know how they did it, but we still went around places. And kept them on their toes. Column shift without the reverse gear. And we got the light. I have to excuse his video again. The light's going crazy in it. It's back to normal now, so that's fine. But yeah, they were very good times. Road trips as a kid.
Yeah.
Music and like you say, it's always your parents that chose your music. Like my kids now are like, oh, Dad put this on.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Well, this is my car.
They just they can just dial in, can't they?
Take over.
Yeah. What's it called with their Bluetooth?
Yeah.
Like.
Suddenly I've got Drake on. I'm like, what's this? What's Drake?
Absolutely.
And I'm driving and I can't clean the stereo back. It's just a nightmare.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Second song. This one is the first dance at your wedding. I take it. So when did you meet Ted? When?
I met Ted in. God, when did I meet Ted? 2000. I'm trying to think about when I met him as opposed to when we got together, because I probably shouldn't say this, but I did go out with his best friend first. So it was I met him quite a while before I actually started going out with him. So we got together in October 2000.
Yeah.
So 24 years this October.
Wow.
Yeah, and we've been married 21 years in April.
Cool. And did you meet in Kenilworth? Have you always been in Kenilworth then?
We met on a night out, and I was trying to pull his mate, and so his mate was really upset. He'd like I think he'd just been dumped by his girlfriend. So I was like, I'll cheer you up. And Ted kept coming over to check on him, and I was like, can you leave us alone? Poor Ted. Ted did have a girlfriend, and then. Weirdly, the three of us just used to hang out, and I sort of became friends with all of them.
Yeah.
And so more and more, I would just see more and more of Ted, and then nothing really very serious happened with the guy, and then Ted and I started meeting up, just the two of us.
Yeah. And
it sort of, so we were friends for probably 2 or 3 months. Seeing each other 4 or 5 times a week,
yeah.
And And then eventually we went to visit one of our friends in university, and I drank 4 pints of snakebite and black because I thought I could keep up with the lads. You've met Ted, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think I could hold 4 pints of water in my body, so I projectile vomited, snakebite and black everywhere.
That's
and
a
Ted,
stunning combination, isn't it?
absolutely. And Ted gave me a chewing gum and snuck my face off.
And that's true love right there, isn't it? Like even snakebite and black vomit, it's not enough to stop the
Didn't
man.
put him off. Didn't put him off. So, and here we are.
And many years later, 3 kids, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And then, so coming to your wedding then,
Yes.
in 2000 and, what did you say, 4? So
2002 we got married.
Where did you get married? Was that local?
We got married at St Peter's
Yeah.
in Leamington, and I mean, I'm really giving you all my secrets here. I was pregnant when, and basically we went and told my parents on New Year's Eve that I was pregnant. They were devastated.
Right.
So my mum was crying, my dad was crying, I was crying. Ted was just sort of sat there like, oh, everyone looks really upset about this.
This is an emotional evening.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, he was really happy, and everybody else was not. So my parents were like I always joke and say it was a shotgun wedding. Like my dad's like, you do want to marry a don't you, Ted? And so, needless to say, we told them on New Year's Eve. We got married on the 20th of April. So it was a proper whirlwind. But because we're Catholic, I'm Catholic, we had to do this thing called engaged encounter. So we had to go away for the weekend to really kind of connect and talk about marriage and, you know, talk about the values of marriage, and which was lovely. But obviously really out of Ted's comfort zone, because obviously there would be some prayers and things like that. And then on the last day, we all had to stand in a circle and hold hands whilst we said our final prayers, and guess who ended up stood next to the priest? Ted. Well, I thought he was going to crush my hand, because he was like, I can't believe not only am I here, I stood next to the priest. So yeah, that was a real core memory for both of us that weekend.
What an interesting start to married life as well.
Exactly, like he's 21, I'm just 22, like what have I got myself into?
Yeah, what is going on?
Yeah.
We're at the engagement circle, whatever it is, And then obviously you come to your wedding day, and then the song that you had was Jackie Wilson.
So I listened to Gus on the way over, and I heard him share 2 songs. So our actual technical first dance, I am so embarrassed to say, because we've evolved. I've certainly evolved a lot in my music taste, but it was what was popular at the time. Bearing in mind, we didn't have long.
There's a lot of disclaimers here. Well, this has got to be bad.
It was Ronan Keating, You Say It Best, which really technically just meant, Kate, shut up.
You've got nothing to say, just leave it to me.
You say it best when you're silent, because you talk too much. But that very quickly, it was like, so we started off with that, like, that smile on your face, Jackie Wilson, But the reason that we got Jackie Wilson is because, so me and Ted have been together for about 8 weeks, maybe not, I don't remember, between 8 weeks and 3 months. And I'll never forget where I was. I was sat in the car on Princess Drive in Leamington, coming up towards the roundabout where the guide dogs the blind is. And I was looking at him and I was thinking, now it'd be called the ick, right?
Yeah.
We didn't know it was called that then, but I got the ick. I was like, I think I'm going to finish with him. I'm just a bit over it. It's just not doing it for me. I think I don't fancy him anymore. And this song came on the radio, and he turned it up full blast, and he sang it to me, but with all like, he was so animated, the whole car was shaking, and I was like, I'm gonna marry him, literally, from
like
the ick.
Like the bank, and just change.
This is the man for me. And loads of people have said to me, why is he a really good singer? No,
and he's not even a good singer.
Sing
No?
to save his life. He is totally tone deaf. He'll be really upset that I said that, but it's true. He cannot sing to save his life. But whatever he did in that moment, I don't know if it was just a moment of vulnerability or because he was quite shy, Ted. And I just thought, oh yeah, that's the man for me.
Yeah.
So literally,
Jackie Wilson
that saved
everything, didn't he? Really. Your love was indeed lifting you higher.
Yeah, and that was one of Ted's favourite songs, and it's from the film Ghostbusters.
Of course, yeah.
So, yeah, it was a really, really special song for him.
Yeah.
That then became a really special song for us.
And he must have put everything into that performance. And as you can say, I mean, like I say, he's a big guy, and if he's bouncing around like that, the car's shaking.
It was.
Yeah. But, I mean, imagine as well, like, when you feel like that, and then just randomly, he's just done that, and that's changed everything. Literally, your whole life could have been...
It was a sliding doors moment.
A sliding door, I love that film.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's such a good film.
Yeah.
Sliding doors moment. Literally a microsecond, a song comes on, full volume, going for it, and then everything changed.
Yeah, the ick was gone.
Crazy.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? I mean, I'm not sure what it says about me, really, how fickle I was. But I was only 21, like, you know, you have to remember we were only kids.
Yeah, you're quite young, aren't you, at 21, and you look back at what you knew then, you think, actually, I thought I knew everything, but you didn't know diddly squat, really, did
Well, my son is 21. Oh, so actually we've been married for 22 years in April.
Yeah.
And he is in that space now, and it's like, you know, I try so hard to try and remember, and he's so convinced, and I see it, and I'm like, oh my God, I remember feeling like, how could there be a different view like this? I believe this so much, and so I really try and be patient with him, because it's like, but then I'll be like, but I'm also 20 years older than you, so give me a chance.
I've done all of this.
Yeah, exactly.
I know what's happening.
Yes.
I've made the mistakes. I'm just trying to help you.
Exactly. But we all, well, certainly I am the type of person, and seemingly so is he, that have to learn from their own experiences.
Yeah, and like you say, that's what kind of, that's what makes it, isn't it? That once you go through them yourself, and you learn. That's how you learn. But it's hard as a parent.
It is. To
watch.
Yeah, I know.
I don't really want to let him go and do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a bit of an eye opener.
Yeah.
But, okay. So that was your wedding, well, related to your wedding song, and then talking of your kids. So you've got 3 boys.
Yeah.
This is a song that reminds you of them. Are they all rugby players?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, so Ted played rugby.
Yeah.
I know he went and did a game again the other week.
Yeah,
and
he's supposed to be playing tomorrow as well. He's got the bug back.
Yeah, he's like...
clinging on to his youth, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's his birthday on Tuesday. He's not prepared to accept it.
No, and why the hell not, you know, just let's get stuck back in on the rugby pitch.
Absolutely.
And so all your lads play rugby, but this song you've chosen, I love this song, AC/DC, Thunderstruck.
Yeah.
So why does this remind you of your kids?
So it's a whole family song, but I'll explain why it reminds me of the kids. So my dad is a massive AC/DC fan. I remember when we were kids, my mum would go and see Cliff Richards in concert. Now you also understand why she weren't allowed to play her music.
Yeah.
And he would always go and see AC/DC in concert. And like a core memory of mine as a kid is that my dad would go, and when he came back he wouldn't be able to speak for 3 days because he'd just be singing, obviously. And then when I met Ted, like if we were all having a really lazy Sunday, you know, like nobody was getting up, my dad would put AC/DC on the stereo, full blast, and so, you know, we'd all be like, oh, I better get up. And he'd have a full English ready, but, you know, he's a good lad, my dad. So then, when I had my children, so they obviously bonded over AC/DC, and then when I had Dylan, I'm not really sure where this happened, whether it was in the car, whether it was my dad or whether it was Ted, but we used to play AC/DC a lot, and so Dylan's used to sing Highway to Hell all the time, right? My nana, deeply religious, deeply Catholic, is watching this little 4-year-old, I'm on a highway to hell, and she's like, I'm not sure you should be saying that.
This is not right.
And then we had Tom, and I do remember this very clearly, that my dad would say, so Tom would come in as a little toddler, like come running in, and my dad would go, Tom, na 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 na, and he'd say, Angus. And that was his first word, Angus. Na 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 na, Angus. And then Archie, again, I can't remember like the whole story, but his first word was thunder, because we played AC/DC all of the time.
Always on.
And so when, I'm trying to think what year it would have been, I think it was around 2015. My mum and dad and my brother and me and Ted and all 3 kids went to the Queen Elizabeth Stadium to watch AC/DC.
Yeah.
And they were only little, so at first I've got videos of them and all you can see is their faces being lit up by the lights. But they're almost a bit overwhelmed. They've all just sort of stood there, like, trying to process it, trying to take it all in. But at the end, I've got this video and they're all like, I'm on a highway to hell.
Right.
That Thunderstruck, if we're on a road trip as a family, or if that song comes on, it is full blast.
Yeah.
Everyone's got an air guitar. It is my favourite AC/DC song, without a doubt. If we're ever watching YouTube and we're having some family music time, AC/DC at River Plate, and it just looks like the floor is moving. It's just, there's something really special about AC/DC.
Yeah.
Even though they're heavy rock,
Yeah.
heavy metal.
Yeah.
I'm a country girl, so I don't really know. Even me and my mom are like, whatever it
Yeah.
you know, like,
Give it
yeah,
the full.
with our AC/DC t-shirts on and everything. And I just think it's really accessible.
They are pretty awesome.
Yeah, they are.
As an act, it's and Thunderstruck, like you, that's my favourite AC/DC song. That intro bit,
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You need speakers the size of a building, don't you, to play that.
Absolutely. It just never gets old. And it's just so layered. You know, it starts off with the guitar and then it's just the bass drum and it's just like, and then just that bit where it's just where it all goes off.
It just happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's wicked.
And to think as well, so, 20 years from now, when your kids are sitting reminiscing about the songs from their road trips.
Oh,
that'll be that.
It will.
Yeah.
It will. And AC/DC, that sort of connection to my dad and Ted, it means it's got a connection to everybody in one way or another. It sort of permeates throughout the family, which is lovely. That's what music does, isn't it?
It links you all, doesn't it? It's very special.
I mean, I could talk all day. There's so many. Like Fleetwood Mac would be the sort of another version of that. So yeah, it's really powerful stuff.
Yeah, it's really pretty cool. And your next song then is the one that you love singing more than anything, and that's because you're in a band.
I am.
Called Barton Hollow.
That's correct.
Who does live acts. I've seen you at Kenilworth and around Warwickshire.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about Barton Hollow then before we get into the song that you love to sing the most.
So this is Barton Hollow is possibly one of the biggest surprises of my life. So when I was young, before I had Dylan when I was young. If we went to Ireland, everybody would sing in the pub, just freestyle it. Sometimes it'd be music, but not very often. They'd just be like, Kate, sing, and you'd just sing. You wouldn't get a choice really. And then sort of karaoke came around, didn't it? And I'd do a bit of karaoke. And then my dad's best friend was always in a band, and every now and again he would invite me along or get me up to sing a song. Or they did a couple of shows over at the Bear Pit in Stratford, and I did a couple of songs there, which was lovely. But I just felt so anxious around it all. I wasn't like, oh, I'm born to be a star. I didn't ever feel like that. I always felt like too self-conscious. And then I turned 40 and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. So being self-conscious sort of went out the window, just didn't worry about things anymore. Anyway, so a really good friend of mine, Richard, his son and my son are best friends. They've been friends since they were 7. And we used to go camping together at the end of school. And he would bring his guitar, Dylan would bring his guitar, and we'd all have a sing-song round. All the kids loved it. It was such a lovely thing to do. At no point did he ever say, you should be in a band, Kate. I just never ever saw it on the cards. And obviously my kids were little, it wasn't really an opportunity either. It wasn't like opportunity knocks, that it just wasn't on the radar. And then last Christmas, not this Christmas gone, the one before, he was in a band, Richard, and he said, I'd love you to come and sing some Christmas songs. Did a bit of Mariah and something else. And then in the new year, he told me that he had set up a duet with this other guy that's a really, really good singer, Andy. And I'd had a few drinks on Friday night, a couple of gins.
Always starts this way, all the best stories.
I can't remember what he messaged me, and I just messaged him back like, really cool. Oh, well, that sounds really nice. Yeah, nice for you and Andy. And then he messaged me something else, and then he was like, "Are you drinking?" And I was like, "Yeah, but that's not the point. I mean this." And he was like, "Oh, Kate, come on, you can come and sing. You could come and do a few songs with me and Andy." I was like, "Huh, well, Andy could have come and done a few songs with us. Like what are you playing at?" Anyway, he just was laughing, and I was just teasing him, whatever. So then Kenfest became on the radar, which is our local Kenilworth Rugby Club's. Last year was the inaugural festival, so first time they'd done it, and Richard was doing it with his band, Andy was doing it with his band, and then they'd put themselves forward to do their sort of male duo, and they said, actually we'd quite like a female on the Friday night. So Richard messaged me and said, "I'm calling your bluff. If you really want to be in a band,
now is the time." This is it.
I was like, yeah, why not? What am I doing? But I honestly, and this is because it was so far off my radar, I honestly thought that would be it. So I absolutely gave it everything. I loved every single minute of it. I was stood on that stage with, I can't remember if there was 200 people, 200 tickets for that first night, and I reckon at least 90 of them belonged to me, the people that were there. Everybody was just so proud. My parents, my brother, it's like hadn't seen me sing in such a long, long time. And I just drank it in, and I was just like, can't believe that I've got to do this, to sing on a stage at a festival. And then Dylan came on for the second set to play with us.
Yeah.
It was an absolute dream come
so
true,
cool. Yeah.
but I thought that was it. And then it just wasn't. So we've already done 3 gigs this year. We did about 6, I think, in total last year. We're pretty booked up for most of the year.
Awesome.
So yeah, what an absolute dream.
It just mushroomed out of that.
Absolutely. And it's just, Richard is a really exceptional guitarist. And when I started, I was really quite shy. Like I was not a performer. I don't really feel like I am still yet there. I can feel that my voice has improved, but not my performance. I'm quite shy, believe it or not. In that, I'm not self-conscious anymore, but I'm not I haven't been doing it very long. So, and he's so encouraging, and he just makes me feel like it doesn't matter. Like if you get it wrong, it doesn't matter. Nobody's really listening. Nobody's really paying attention anyway. And so he's just really brought me out of my shell, and my confidence has grown loads. So yeah, it's what I absolutely did not expect to be happening.
And you've just really found that you've just enjoyed it more than maybe you thought you would.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, so much more than I thought I would, because I used to feel really self-conscious. So it was almost like, well, if I sit up here and I sing, that's basically my way of saying I think I'm really good, and then it gives people the opportunity to say, actually, you're not.
Yeah.
And then now that obviously it was my birthday last week, I'm 44 now, I'm like, oh, sorry, I wasn't singing for you, I was singing for me.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter, does it?
No, and actually Richard said that to me before we went to Kenfest, because I got really, really nervous. He said to me, this isn't to prove to people that you're a good singer. You are a good singer. You don't need anybody to tell you whether you are or not.
Yeah, there's no validation.
No,
is there?
He said just go and enjoy it, and he said people want to hear you sing, and that really helped as well. So it's been quite a life-changing experience.
It sounds pretty cool. I mean, I was just mentioning to you earlier, I couldn't sing if my life depended on it. My claim to fame, if you want to call it that, is having had the microphone taken off me at a karaoke, and I'm sure there's not many people that's happened to, but I'm one of them.
I think they're normally encouraged.
Yeah, so I'm that bad. I'm sure it was Angels I was singing, and I was halfway through and got asked to leave the stage. So I shan't be doing any singing in the future, not on stage. But your song then, and this song is just such an awesome song. Marc, Cohn, Walking in Memphis.
Yeah.
So this is one of your favourites to sing.
Yes. So without fail, every time I sing it, it's the type of song that's got real light and shade. Yeah. There's so many different parts to it. There's this kind of the chorusy bit that's quite sing along, and then the first couple of verses are quite straightforward, and then you've got that bit in the middle. But the last verse whenever I sing it, I kind of close my eyes and I'm there. So the verse is Muriel plays piano every Friday at the Hollywood, which I presume is a piano bar, type place.
Not
and
like a chip shop or
exactly,
something. Yeah.
And they brought me down to see her. So I'm visualising myself going down into this sort of, you know, misty, smoky, like little bar, little piano, saxophone bar, whatever. You know, it's moody and it's like, you know, like how you see in the movies, and they got little dark lamps on tables, and Muriel is there playing piano. And they brought me down to see her, and they asked me if I would do a little number, and I sang with all my might, because I'm like, imagine getting that opportunity. And she said, tell me, are you a Christian child? And I said, ma'am, I am tonight. And every time I sing that line, the hairs stand up on the back of my neck. I am in that. It's like a vision, like I'm living that, and without fail, it's one of my favourite songs to sing because I lose myself in it completely.
That's you're just immersed, aren't you, in that moment.
Yeah, and then I sort of come back round and I'm like, oh, everyone's here.
I'm not actually in a piano bar.
Exactly.
Where did all these people turn up?
Where's Muriel?
She's left the building.
So yeah, it's and it feels like the sort of the song. I mean, I sang it at Kenfest. But it feels like the song that's come with me the whole way through, and I've improved with my singing, and it just represents the whole journey.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. Very special song. And then onto your final selection then, which is your life's theme tune, and you've chosen Van Morrison, Into the Mystic. I don't know this song actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah, never heard.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I suppose a life theme tune should be something that's perhaps details the whole of your life, or has been with you for the whole of your life. But this came to me quite late in life, and I'd never heard it either. So it was definitely after the lockdown. So I would say it was around 2021, maybe the end of 2020, beginning of 2021. And I had, at the end of 2020, experienced what people refer to as the dark night of the soul. So basically, I went through a period of transition, let's say. I won't go into the detail, but it was a real turning point in my life where I think I was 40 that year. You know, I brought my kids Dylan was 18, and I think there was and obviously the whole of the pandemic was a time of reflection and a time of looking at life and seeing things differently. And really, I had essentially a bit of a breakdown, but it brought me back to myself. So I don't see it as a negative thing. It wasn't like a catastrophic thing that happened. It was just I realised I'd been putting all of my focus externally, looking for external validation, looking for external things to make me happy, and actually it was about coming back to myself. And so we were sat watching and that sort of led me back to spirituality, which I think when I was younger was much more a part of my life, and I'd sort of lost it, and so I was in a really good place. And then we were watching, it was a really weird like Netflix series. It had Sandra Bullock in it, and they all went into space. I think they only made one series. It was very odd. But they played this song. I think it was the first episode, the end, the credits, they played this song, and it was like they were singing it to me, because it's all about, really, in my interpretation of it, is about coming back to yourself. And I think it's we were born before the wind and younger than the sun. So it's all about that kind of cosmic energy, that we are ultimately part of the universe, and that we are all energy, that we're souls. And there's a line in it about my gypsy soul, just everything about it. And the fact then that it was Van Morrison, because I've got, I was a brown-eyed girl all day long, and I knew that song, I sing that song. I've never heard this, Into the Mystic, and it is such a beautiful, Richard and I have tried to play it, it's impossible. Van Morrison is so hard to replicate. but it's absolutely such a beautiful song. But I feel like it's being sung to my soul.
Yeah, like it just resonates with you on that level.
Yeah, massively.
Yeah, I say I haven't heard it, and normally I would listen to them, but things have run over a little bit today. But I'll certainly give it a listen later on and see what I think.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah. Well, that's your last song. So we will wrap up there. I'll put all the songs in the description as well, and also links to your Barton Hollow band.
Brilliant.
So people want to give you a listen if they're local to Kenilworth, pop along and see you at a gig.
Yeah.
But it's been great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All right. Cheers.
Thank you.